going to show you a really fun technique using the watercolor Wonder crayons from Stampin' Up! And our clear acrylic blocks. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the light blue. This is from the Brights crayons, and I'm just going to scribble it right onto the block. And then I'm going to scribble on some darker blue. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to be mixing this with water to get a watercolor look. Actually, I'll add a bit more near the bottom. I'm going to be using the By the Tide stamp set, so I want this to look like it's in the ocean. I'm adding some green. So that's all I'm going to do. I've got the light blue, the dark blue, and the dark green. And I'm going to take water. I'm just using an old Stampin' Up! Mist bottle, and I've got water in here. And I'm just going to spritz lightly on the acrylic block. And you'll see that the colors start to blend into each other. Now I'm using our watercolor paper, and I'm just going to push this right on top. And you can see as you push it how that color is all bleeding into each other. I'm just going to hold it down for a few minutes just to let it really sink in. And I'm going to lift off. You can kind of see as you're lifting off how it's going to look. And then I took my aqua painter and I just kind of blend it back and forth to get it the way I want. So you can see all the colors gradually blending into each other. And what I'm doing is I'm wiping it off of my scrap paper because I don't want it to all blend into each other. I want to keep the green and the blue. I want to keep all the different colors instead of muddying them up. Alright. So you're going to set that aside to dry. In the meantime, I've already started our card. I have our card base rather. I have our Midnight Muse, and I have our Marina Mist, which I have put through with the Fanfare embossing folder, and then I've used our new ovals framelets with the Midnight Muse again on top, and I have sprayed this with shimmer mist. And what I've done is I've taken our champagne shimmer paint and I've put it in a similar bottle to this with rubbing alcohol. That has to be, well, I use 90% rubbing alcohol, so I fill my rubbing alcohol about 3/4 full, and then I pour in a few drops of the champagne shimmer mist, and I shake it up and I spray it on dark paper until I get the look that I'm going for. So if it's not quite shimmery enough, I'll add some more shimmer paint to it. We do have different colors of the shimmer paint, but I find that the champagne really adds a really super cool shimmer, better than the other colors. Alright. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this through the Big Shot with the smaller oval so that it fits inside there. So I'm going to do that and I'll be right back. If you haven't seen these yet, these are our new oval framelets from Stampin' Up! And they all fit together so you can do some really cool layering. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them. So I think I'm going to be using this a lot. I really, really like it. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this onto my oval here. Okay, next I'm using the new By the Tide stamp set, and I'm going to be using the fish, and I'm also going to use the coral. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use the Luminate stamp pad, and this stamp pad is really cool. It's like it's in between a shimmery Versamark and the Craft White, in my opinion. Alright, I'm just going to stamp this right in the middle. Now it might be hard to see it on the camera, but I can totally see it, how it's all just kind of popping out and adding a really neat background. Now I want to stamp my fish, and I've gone ahead and I've stamped it on my Stamp-A-Majig. So I'm going to take my basic black, I'm going to ink up my fish, And I'm gonna put him right in the middle. Line up my handle, move my plastic, stamp down nice and firm. Nice. Now, it didn't fully ink on that fin, but that's okay because I have a plan for this card. I've gone ahead and I've stamped the Just For You. I've got some scrap paper where I have done the same technique with the watercolor crayons on my watercolor paper, and I've stamped the Just For You. This stamp comes in our pop-up Posies designer kit. That's the only way you can get this stamp. And I've also stamped my fish again, and I stamped my fish on the same paper with the watercolor background, stamped it in black, and I just cut it out, and then I took my soft suede marker. I took my soft suede and my crumb cake, and I just kind of colored in a little bit. And so I'm going to be putting my fish on here, so it's like I've got a couple fish going on. And I'm going to just take some dimensionals. Put them on the back here. Now I'm going to put this, where am I going to put this? I'm actually going to put this down here like that. I'm going to take some more dimensionals. And I want to make sure I've got a little dimensional on his tail. His fin tail. And then this is going to go right on top like that. And there's my card. So I hope you like that, and I hope you give it a try. Using the crayons on the acrylic block gives a super really neat background that you wouldn't get in any other way. And here's a completely different looking card using exactly the same technique. I've just scribbled on the light blue and dark blue along with a bit of the purple up on the 3/4 of the paper, and then down here I used the green. Did it exactly the same way I did here, and then just stamped the rest of my card. So same technique, two totally different looks, but it gives a really neat technique. So I hope you give that a try. Thanks for watching, and happy stamping.